Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to see everybody here. This is the first time we've used this room. I must admit, it's fantastic looking across there to the little Ferris wheel that you've got. Thank you once again, everybody, for coming. I know it's been very difficult times for many of your firms, and to have such a fantastic turn-up of people in such interesting times has been fantastic. A lot of people think they go to conferences to sit around and play golf and do other things like that, but I think you'll all agree this is probably the most hardest working conference you'll ever go to. Everyone's got lots of things they're going to, it's just bang, bang, bang every day learning things. So I know it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough on you as far as how hard it is to concentrate. So if it's nice time to let your hair down, have a few beers and things and talk to your friends. Because tomorrow we'll interview again. But we're just at a formal part of the occasion at the moment on the Innovation Awards. We'll present the prizes for the Innovation Awards. This is something we introduced at the previous conference, and our idea is then to have it with the conference and where we've got everyone together for the dinner. Because the people who are here, you're all our very good users, and so you appreciate what these people have done and you know what the innovation is all about. And what they do with 12D, you'll realise that they're setting the trends, and you'll learn and know what they're doing to be able to put your next entry in as well. So that's the main thing to think about it too. Well, next time you can have an entry in there and be up here and get a prize. So what I'll do though, I'm virtually superfluous these days, so I'm going to hand over to Joel, who will take over. They tell me I'm too old for these things now, so they're trying to pension me off. But I don't know what I'll do, just sitting at home, weeding. So anyway, I'll hand over to Joel, the General Manager, who will now run the Innovation Awards.
Thank you, Lee, and welcome everyone to the 2014 Innovation Awards. My name is Joel Gregory, I'm the General Manager for 12D. And I thought before we actually go into the ceremony, I thought I'd start with a bit of an overview, a discussion about what innovation actually is. So innovation is a word that we throw around quite a lot. But what is innovation really? Well, research or R&D is about turning money into knowledge. Innovation, on the other hand, is turning that knowledge into money. So innovation isn't necessarily about creating something new. It's about getting existing technologies and processes and adapting them to increase and make your workflows more efficient. That's what innovation is all about. In the engineering and construction industry, it's very technology focused. So innovation is extremely important. It really is survival of the fittest, and if you don't evolve, then you'll perish. It's that simple. Innovation has always been very important for 12D. We're always innovating, we're always at the forefront of technology. And with 12D11, we're hoping to streamline your processes even more so that you can stay ahead of your competitors. Now, there's no doubt that the last few years has been quite tough in the industry, both here in Australia, New Zealand, and abroad. So how can your company survive these kinds of downturns? How can you survive this competitive landscape? The key isn't just about cutting off staff and reducing costs. The true secret is increasing efficiencies. It's about innovation. I was speaking to Josh of RMA today, and his management sent out an interesting text message to everyone. And it said, what if we train our staff and they leave? The reply was, what if we don't train them and they stay? I think during the tough times, a lot of companies do just restrict the spending completely. They stop the training, they stop upskilling, they stop improving the processes. They just put their head in the sand and then hope everything will become a lot better. It's not the right approach. When things are down, you've got more slack in the system. It's the perfect time to innovate. It's the perfect time to look at your processes and increase efficiency. And then when the downturn does pass, and it always does, then you'll be in a much better position. You'll be much more efficient. So when the workload takes up, you'll be able to take on that workload and recruit less people. You'll be more profitable. It's after the downturn that those lean, mean, efficient companies will grow much, much faster and make a lot more money at the other side. And the people that aren't innovating, that aren't evolving, they're going to be lost over time. This isn't just a problem in our industry, this is a problem across the entire economy. Not just in Australia, but throughout the world. Everything's very short-sighted. It's about hitting your targets for the next quarter. It's reducing, making sure that the sales for the next quarter are fine. But what about the next 5 and 10 years? Who cares about the next quarter if in 5 or 10 years you're going to become less competitive? So it's certainly a hidden trap to think very short-term. So it's always the right time to be innovating. You should always be thinking how you can do things better, do things smarter. So looking around the conference, you're seeing new technologies on showcase, things like 12D field, the 2D drainage, 12D synergy. Have a look at those. Can they increase your productivity? Can they increase your efficiency? It needs to be a constant challenge, and you should be asking that every day. The recent landscape as well, it's just not the downturn. Globalization and increased competition is putting new stresses on our companies. We've all seen in recent decades the amount of manufacturing that's moved off overseas. Just look at the auto industry this year. However, it's now not just manufacturing call centre jobs that are going away. It's now white-collar jobs, jobs that we're doing. I think all the big companies here now have offices in the Philippines, India, Indonesia, and such. So how do I compete? How do I as an individual compete against someone in the Philippines that's earning an absolute fraction of what I'm costing the company? The answer is, as an individual, I need to be innovating. I need to be improving my work processes, increasing efficiency constantly. If I stand still, I've got nothing else to offer and I will be replaced. So it's about constant re-education. It's about constant training. It's keeping an open mind about changing processes, understanding in the short term it might take a little bit longer to do something, but then in the long term you're going to have those efficiency gains. So it's also a mindset that everyone needs to be in. Now everyone here, you've done a great job. You're here at the conference, and most of you have that open mind about how can I do things better. It's also about sharing knowledge. It's about getting out there and doing talks and understanding best practices in the industry and then applying them. That's what innovation is all about. So from a 12D model perspective, it's about learning new tools, being able to apply them, attending training courses, applying the things you're seeing in these talks. That's what it's about. So get in there, try and learn these snippets, these tri-meshes, 12D field. Give it a go. No one's expecting you to learn it overnight, but it's about that long-term perspective. We're all going to be working for a very long time. So it's about where are we going to be in 5 years' time, not next week. Okay? So it's not just the companies that need to be thinking about innovation, it's also the individuals. You need to remember that the individuals and companies that innovate and evolve, they'll be the leaders in the future. And that's where we all want to be as individuals and companies. Now, without further ado, I'd like to move on to the Innovation Awards themselves. Now, there have been a few changes for this year. Last year we just had the first, second and third, where this time we actually broke it down into 4 different categories. So we've got the Customisation, the Design Visualisation, Drainage, Sewer and Utilities, and Survey and Construction. So we've got the 4 categories. And for each of those 4 categories we have prizes. So $1,500 in cash, $1,000 in training, and then we had a trophy for all the winners as well. On top of that, we also had the overall category. It was $3,000 in cash, $1,500 in training, a trophy, and a conference package for 2016. We also had a selection of judges, and this year we actually had 4. We had Lee Gregory, co-founder of 12D Solutions, We also had Tony in Gold from EXTS, who's the reseller in New South Wales, ACT and South Australia. We also had Sam Check, everyone knows, 12D super user. And also Professor Richard Webber, the senior lecturer at Sydney Uni, and he also did the judging for the 2012 event. Now today I will be helped by Tony Ingold, one of the judges, and he'll be giving a judge's perspective on each of the awards. So again, we're overwhelmed by the entries. For the highly commended, we have to ask ourselves, what makes a good innovation? What makes a good innovation entry? Well, the idea is which innovation entry creates the most efficient workflows? The primary criteria, how much time is this entry going to save you? How many errors will it reduce? How much more efficient is this workflow than the standard workflow? These are the things which define the judging criteria. Another thing as well was the presentation of the entries. So here's an example of what Dalton's, Brent Gordon, for 2 years, these are the type of presentations that he's been doing for his entries. We also had the skirt team. We're wondering, we got this package from New Zealand, and this is what their entries came in. It's just not the way it looks, it's also the screenshots that are added, the videos, the 12D data. This all helps get the message across about the entry and why it's innovative. So for the highly commended awards, we have 3, one for the small, medium and large company, and then one for the government award as well. So the winner for the small company highly commended award goes to John McFarlane of McFarlane Geomatics. Well done. Unfortunately, John's not here today to accept his award, but Tony can give a brief overview of what the entry was.
Hello? That's much better. Yeah, John McFarlane's one of my clients and a guy I know fairly well. He's a construction surveyor in South Australia. He was involved in the Superway, which is an elevated roadway running overhead in parallel with one of the major arterial routes in Adelaide. The architecture had a wonderful time designing the columns that held the whole Superway up. Now it's been built, and John was tasked with setting it out. So he was given the task of designing columns which were roughly 4 stories high, outwards, and a whole bunch of them, each of them slightly different and each in a different location. He modelled all of them inside 12D. He created tins of all the surfaces. This is before tri-meshes were available. And he used 12D field to set out. So he used the idea he could create a surface of the proposed finish of the concrete and measure perpendicularly from the formwork to that surface. Quite an undertaking. Really pushing the boundaries of what 12D, the triangulation, and 12D field could do.
Well done to John. For the Medium Company Award, the winner goes to Jimmy Sue of ADW Johnson. Well done. Unfortunately, again, Jimmy wasn't here to accept the award. Tony?
And again, this Jimmy Sue's ADW Johnson in Newcastle, on the Central Coast, are a client of mine. And it's not as I promised. They had a large block of land facing eastward on Lake Macquarie. It used to be a power station there, and it used to be very run down and very industrial. And it was being redeveloped as a residential area. Client had very specific requests or very specific requirements for grading of all of the lots inside the area, and he had hundreds to do. Based on the road position, there was a certain grade you could go up from the road to the lot had to grade at a certain level, then there was a certain distance you could move up if we had to build a retaining wall, and then backing onto the street on the other side of the lots. So Jimmy developed some macros that he used to automate the process of regrading the lots. Obviously, the greater difference you get between the two sets of roads, the greater number of retaining walls you have to build, and the more expensive the whole thing is. And working with a site that was fairly steep and fairly complicated, he was able to refine the lot grading very, very quickly based on the macros that he produced.
And a highly commended entry for the large company. And luckily he's here tonight. So it's Phil Campbell of Jacobs.
Once again, Phil Campbell's and Jacobs Phil has worked at Castor, the channel analysis in something. I think most people have seen many people have seen Phil's presentation. Phil took the need for stormwater drainage design for trunk roads and approached it from a completely different direction to 12D. The 12D method is to place the pits and to see how they work, and if they don't work, then place more, and see how they work and place more, and shift them until they work. Phil's approach was to figure out where they needed to go, do that first, and then place them, and then turn the handle at the end to make sure that they all work. So congratulations, Phil.
The final highly commended for the government category goes to Andrew Howes of Environment Canterbury.
Yeah, Andrew's entry involved working with a large quarry area in Canterbury where they were both winning rock for construction and using part of the quarry area as a rubbish tip for disposal. He had the job of monitoring the quarry, measuring the amount of material that was removed and placed there, but also being able to produce material in a format that a non-technical audience could understand and move forward with the quarry design on a year-to-year basis.
So they were the four categories. However, there was one entry that really needed some special recognition. It was a visualisation entry, and so we've given it a special award tonight. And yeah, it's certainly entertaining, so I'll just play it for you now. Yeah. How good was that? So the creator of that video was Thane Rickard by R2 Consulting. Of course, unfortunately, Thane's not here either tonight. So now onto the winners for the 4 categories. First of all, we're looking at the customization. Now, when people think customization, they think of, generally speaking, macros, but there's a lot more to customization than just macros. Anyone that saw Tim Brooks' speech knows there's a lot more, except for the, I don't know what the woman wetting herself was all about, but that's all right. Customization is also about snippets. It's about naming files, symbols. It's about the way that you set your 12D model network up. It's about default files, customized toolbars, customized training, customized help. These all fit into the realm of customization. The other reason why this category is so important is because it's probably the best, most cost-effective way to increase productivity across a team, is just to get the customization sorted. So for tonight, the winner of the customization category goes to Daniel Winter of Cardno.
Dan is here now, and Dan is not from New South Wales, he's from Cardno in New Zealand. Faced with the large stormwater drainage networks, lots of problems as part of the SCIRT team, Daniel's idea was very simple and very effective. Taking the log lines that appear in the output window that 12D will zoom to when you click on them. 12D will zoom to the log lines. Daniel wrote a routine that extracted those log lines, kept them in a CSV file, and allowed you to reuse them, to zoom to a different part of the job, to follow the next problem, and the next problem, and the next problem. So with a network with thousands of links and lots of problems, the time spent panning and zooming was effectively nullified, wasn't it?
Well done, Dan. The next category was the design and visualization. Again, there was a broad range of entries here. It wasn't just highways or land development, it also had airport design, break walls. We also had a lot of visualizations. Everyone saw Thane's amusing entry earlier. It's not just visualizations for the end client. It's always good to provide a visualization for a non-technical audience, but it's also about design visualization, being able to check things, making sure that your design is correct. So visualization is quite a broad term in itself. But tonight, the design and visualization winners are Mark Hagan and Matthew Cronk of KO Myers.
Mark and Matthew had a challenge with the Wellcamp Airport, which is a privately funded airport here in Brisbane. I think it's the first privately funded airport since 1945, is that right? Something like that. Anyone who's had anything to do with airports will know that there's a wonderful thing called the obstacle height limit. Basically, you're not allowed to put a high-rise building at the end of the runway. They get a bit cranky about that. But faced with the Toowoomba bypass to the south of the new airport and a proposed business park to the east, the mission was to define the obstacle height limit, further complicated by the fact that an existing quarry was there which allowed slight changes to the way that it worked. And a combination of the sort of thing where a super tin wouldn't work, a combination of creating 3D faces from tins, creating boundaries around tins, fencing the faces and creating new tins from the fenced faces, allowed them to create a surface which is the obstacle limitation surface. And I think it resulted in didn't have to lower the bypass. Is that the case?
Well done. The next category, the drainage, sewer and utilities. Again, we had a range of entries, the rational method, the dynamic drainage sewer, the 2D drainage, they were all in there. But the winner tonight goes to Charlie Dixon of Christchurch City Council.
those of you who were here last year will remember Charlie being on stage last year as well. Congratulations, mate. Charlie's entry was involved a survey as-built system, again for the Skirt project in Christchurch. Involved creating a single point of truth for as-built data, and as much a procedure for educating people who are picking up the data, being able to verify that the data that was picked up was correct, and creating a strict data flow to ensure that the data was picked up was correct and was stored in the correct way. Finally, uploading that to GIS and SQL databases for repository.
Next we have the survey and construction category. So in this we had several entries with, outlining the software and hardware combinations using 12D field, taking their office into the field and some of the advantages there. We also had several entries talking about the streamlined workflows, being able to bring in different types of survey data and manipulating it to save a lot of time. But in this entry, this category, the winner was Andrew Sinclair and Graham Couchley of Elliott Sinclair Partners.
This entry was a start with me, as I thought very highly of this entry. The idea was the engineers assessing damaged buildings in Christchurch need to be able to quickly interpret the survey information that they have. Now, most surveys are fairly disparaging about engineers and don't think they can hold the right end of a pencil toward the paper. But so in order to help the engineer interpret the verticality of the walls and the levelness of floors, they've created a series of macros which annotate the drawings very, very simply, very, very easily. The engineer can quickly look at the drawing, look at the annotation, look at the wall and go, yes, that's okay, or no, bad luck, that one gets knocked down. The entry demonstrated that existing tools in 12D can easily be repurposed to provide information that is easy to interpret and very, very relevant. So congratulations.
The final category tonight was for the overall winner. Again, this was the hardest to judge, I was told by the judges. Essentially, which out of all the entries allowed the most innovation? Which one reduced the amount of time? Which was the most efficient? And tonight, the winner for the overall category was Andrew Sinclair of Elliott Sinclair and Partners.
Congratulations again, Andrew, and again a very innovative use of 12D and of other techniques. Some of the work that the surveyors are doing involved hydrographic work, and this entry was largely based on filtering and cleaning the data that was collected by hydrographic surveys. The sounding from the boats, the data comes in very, very unclean and needed to be filtered, and the entry provided a clear demonstration of some very clever ideas about how to do that. So congratulations.
So join me in a final applause for all the winners and the highly commended. Well done. Everyone. So I'd like to thank everyone that entered this year's event. We certainly couldn't do it without you. Again, I'd like to thank the judges. Now, if everyone's looked at theirs, at the Innovation Awards stand, all the winning entries from 2012 have been on display for the last 2 days. And tomorrow morning we'll have this year's winners up there as well. So you can go in there and just see and read what actually impressed the judges. I can confirm that the awards will be a running feature and will be in the next conference, which is planned for 2016. So if anyone wants to enter, there's certainly entry forms there, and enter them into the registration forms, get in quick. And a message to our Australian clients as well, it's not the Bledisloe Cup. You can win, you can beat these Kiwis. And next year I'm hoping for a few more wins this side of the Tasman, okay? You've been warned, guys. I'm also expecting next time to have an extra category for the management of data, 12D model data using 12D model synergy. So look out for that one as well for everyone who's adopting synergy in the coming months. So enjoy the rest of your night tonight. That's the Innovation Awards. Look out for the stand tomorrow. After this, we'll just have a quick message from our sponsor, and then afterwards we're going to have the entertainer, which I believe will be a slight step up from last time. So thank you, everyone.